I want to talk about the dragon and the dark energy of life. And I'm going to use this subject matter to reveal some dragon codes for personal empowerment and growth and expansion. So you have the dragon mythologized as the creature with breathing fire, the flying monster that can exist on land and in sea, can both fly and swim. Cosmologies that predate the mythological fire from the dragon as a weapon, it was also used as a tool to help the earth have more access to water, and much older cosmologies regarding the usage of the dragon's fire. In the word dragon, you have to drag, to pull something in the direction you're headed. So this is you leading the way. When you pull something, you're really being the leader. You have your back, or you can be dragging it facing where you're trying to go. But either way, you're going before the object. So the dragon has this primordial type of state. So you're dealing with the before. You're dealing with the past. You're dealing with the very first second. You're dealing with what is called the beginning. Clean slate. The dragon is dragging on. This is in the word dragon. Drag and on. To drag on. What is on? On is light. The cosmologies of on go back to a god named Heliopolis. Not Heliopolis, but named Helios. And then going back into, I believe it was probably in the days of Babylonia, on, which also represented the sun deity for light, which also represented illumination, which is insight, intelligence, not necessarily academia and knowing facts and figures, but having the understanding and being able to interpret these things in beneficial uses. This is the idea of wisdom. You're dealing with the dragon who drags on. The dragon drags light. So the dragon is either stronger than light, the creator of light, or moving faster than light. This is why cosmologies, even on the left-hand side, talk about the dragon as being primordial, predating this universe, being the force that circles on the outside of it, bordering around it, like a mother, like the womb. This is what the divine feminine is about now as much as it was then. What do you have going on in history? Whose balloons are those? The symbol of the dragon. See, we're back in those times again, because these things loop in like 25,000 year cycles and brackets. All of us who are alive now, we don't know a reality outside of the patriarch. None of us are 25,000. So we're now in the time of the dragon. However, the dragon is a masculine force in the ethos. It is, which means it is intended for creation. It is intended for production. The sign of the dragon itself, which is mythological, but what it represents a higher form of, is actually a real creature, that being the serpent, also known as the snake. Jesus told his disciples, be wise as serpents, not just harmless as doves, but as wise as serpents. But the serpent in its higher mythological form has a deified figure that represents a higher level of wisdom. And this is the dragon. The dragon can be on the underwater, submerged, hidden in the sea of people, being cloaked, being disguised, taking on a low profile. The dragon can dwell on land and be the strongest thing on land also, staking its claim, solidifying its territory. But it also can fly, which is to survey all of that and put it in context, to see, always having the mind's eye on the dichotomy, the contrast between being submerged in something and being above something. You can be submerged in work or be above work. You can be submerged in stress or above stress, walking over the things that you may have been submerged in psychologically. This is the dragon. The wisdom of the dragon is a higher form of the serpent's wisdom. You understand? So you're dragging light. You're moving even faster than light. You're the creator of light. So you're dragging light. You're dragging insight. You have the kind of heart and mind that drags and pulls at wisdom. Education means to draw out of oneself. You're drawing information out of your well, of your eternal wellspring. This is what that is. So you're pulling this kind of information and you're sending this out to the quantum field, and it's basically giving you the feedback loop that you are ready to learn more. So your knowledge and the application of it is defined as wisdom. This is the power of the dragon. And what is the dragon's skin? The dragon's skin are scales. The scales representing the bodies of people moving together as one. It's a unified working theory, a unified cooperative being. It doesn't function like a hive. This is a moving animal that is made up of people. It's a dragon. It can be submerged underwater. It can survey the land, and it can fly above, surveying both land and water, both above and below, handling all of duality. It's a creature that sees even beyond duality. It's mythological because it's psychological. Together as a people, we can fly once we can stand outside of polarity, once we can stand outside of the idea of good and evil. If we can stand outside of good and bad and look at it, what is called the middle pillar. If you can look at both Jacob and Boaz, if you can get purple from red and blue, if you can synthesize the duality, you can understand how the dragon is moving. And this has everything to do with what is called dark energy, not to be confused with dark matter. Dark energy, though. And this is what frames all of reality, both seen and unseen, in a nutshell. Dark matter just embodies it with the substance that can't be seen. But both the substance that fills all things seen and unseen is crafted and animated by dark energy. So you have this caretaking type of thing. A womb within a womb within a womb. You have this split screen mirror effect again. Man, as a fetus, is first underwater, then born as a child, born as an infant, born as a baby. On land now, dealing with surfaces, solid surfaces now. And then eventually, what is the purpose of that living being? To fly. But what does that mean? Not to transform into a bird, but to understand the duality and master polarity. Being the holder of the scepter, the best way to hold a scepter is right in the middle. It's not to be confused with a walking cane. See, the dragon is about balance because all people are working together, so there's this flow. A dragon is to be compared to a flock of birds that move in the same direction when the wind blows, or a school of fish that move in the same direction as the tide carries them. The dragon is harmonious, unified working theory. Operating this dragon, you got movies that tell you, pretend your name is Dragon for a moment. Say the dragon is the number of a man. It is 666. A reminder, man was made on day 6, according to the Abrahamic cosmologies, particularly Judaism, Christianity. Man was made on day 6. So it's saying what? What is it all pointing to? Man, man, man. People, people, people. Don't attribute 666 to a particular person who's here to just tear the whole place down. You got good and evil every day. Don't get caught up in that. But look at The man and the idea of the dragon as this harmonious concept of a body of people working together to accomplish something. You have what's that other cartoon? There's a cartoon with a name out there, right? It was called Taming Your Dragon or something like that. So what are you doing? You're taming the idea of this. You're making it workable, a reality where people are working together in harmony, moving as one creation. This is what we're looking at with the dragon. It's not what we're looking at with this mythological beast. If you do want to paint it that way and say, how is this happening now? You can see it in your whatever kind of disasters you can point to and relate to. But I'm talking about a working knowledge of dragon and dark energy that you can use for your everyday life. Learning how to work well with one another, even if you have to artificially boost your vibration just to be more agreeable and to make the whole synthesis of things work better. Also known as cooperation, not just one operation. Duality is expressed the cooperation. You're not just operating alone. None of us are. You're cooperating. You're either your mind is cooperating with your heart cooperating with your mind. You're either cooperating with your life partner or cooperating with a friend. There's a duality that doesn't go against unity. It doesn't go against unified thought. It's just letting you know what heads and tails is on this golden coin of consciousness that you hold. That's all. Negative, positive, darkness, light. It's just two sides of the same coin. And you can flip the coin, and whether it lands on heads or tails, a light time in history or a dark time in history, you as the one flipping the coin consciously can still calibrate his or her life to be beneficial. Now there becomes this dragon breathing fire to burn a bridge, creating a disconnect between the micro and the macrocosm if the oversoul is not conducive to the undersoul. If you as a person cannot function with hive mind and you're operating in high enough dimensions of consciousness, you can change the oversoul where there are some glitches and loops and wormholes that will be burned into your existence just for you. And the world will still go on. We can talk about correlation later, but for the most part, the world will just continue to go on. This is how you can be rich in a depression, because your microcosm is different than the macrocosm that is expected of you. The trajectory that has been diagnosed, prescribed for you. You have a choice over what you want this dragon to do for you. It's also called the Kundalini force, which is the empowerment of basically you standing up straight and responding to the knowledge you take in. The bursting through the crown, the energy traveling from the root. Some diagrams have the energy from the heart traveling in both directions, but you basically have the dragon uncoiled in the root, in the red. We're in the time of the red dragon, the great red dragon, the great survival uncoiling, the great animating of the energy center. This is that moment when the cork on the champagne is popped. And if you could take a picture just as the cork leaves the bottle, That's the time that we're in now. The foam and the champagne and the cheering is the results of whatever ascensions take place from whom, wherever. But that's where we are in the spiritual realm. The cork is actually popped, but everything is happening not really in slow-mo. And on higher dimensions, yes, like, there's the decimal and then there's like 30 zeros and then point 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Like time is very, very sliced and diced up very, very finely. But however, this is the dragon's effects, and dark energy is here to tell you that this is all a part of the experience. Nothing came from the outside and invaded our whole reality. Nothing came and messed up the omniverse. Nothing came and disrupted the all within all. What it is that if you could give the Most High, the all, an actual character, he or she would be dark matter. Something that can't be measured, can't be detected. The only thing that can be detected is its effects on other things. That's God in the highest form, though, affecting all form and formlessness, undetectable, unmeasurable. Something you just have to know. Only power alone, only consciousness alone, and you can't measure consciousness. So what is dark energy then? Right, consciousness. It can't be dark matter. Matter is talking about material, but a material that we can't see, but nonetheless material. Energy is not material. Energy powers material. So tame your dragon. You are the last dragon. And I don't mean the last singular dragon creature. No, if your name is dragon, remember I said before, you're looking at titles and synchronicities everywhere. If your name is dragon, you're basically being called the Omega. You are the last, comma, dragon. You are the last, just like you are the first. But the last lesson is the dragon, or the great lesson, the great red lesson, the great red dragon. The great red dragon of intelligence is connected to survival based on people being able to work together, because systems are falling apart. And the only thing that's going to build a new system is people. Even if you want machines to do it, how are they going to govern, and what are they going to govern if there are no humans left? It's not going to make sense even among the machines if we're not around. This is dragon talk. People have to work together. Dragon has many different scales, and the scales are also many different measurements. Scales is also scales. The weighing, the Libra energy. The Libra, the librarian, the reader of books, the reader of people, the reader of scenarios, the reader of circumstances, one who can read the room just as well as they can read a book. The readers, the seers, the discerners, right? All of this is tied into dragon energy. And I'm just scratching the surface. You have people who are really into dragon mysticism who go much deeper than this. But I just wanted to take away some of the negative stigma that can go behind a creature like this. And just because you see things coming to pass according to certain ancient texts dealing with theology, remember that duality is ever present. There's a right hand meaning and a left hand meaning to everything. So thank you again. This is Super T Sigma with Sigma Programming. I thank you for your time and attention. Over here, you already know, reaching is teaching. Continue to vibrate high. Peace.